Dragon Ball community, welcome back to another video here, as we're now going into a very, anticipated leader to receive support. It's going to be Gogeta, Xeno Gogeta. For people who don't know, this deck terrorized a format as being a true turn 2 kill deck. It was incredibly aggressive, very, very strong. This was now a few nats ago. And it received some terrible nerfs. Thwarting being limited to 1. It had Marvelous Might banned. Most recently, now we have seen Marvelous Might come off the ban list. And this deck has now gotten some more targets for its fusions, which I think is going to turn the deck into somewhat of a nightmare. And we're going to see this deck run rampant for a while. I would say this is probably now the best black deck in the game, barring some crazy changes or unbans. I think this is probably going to be the best black deck here. So this is a deck where you are basically milling to your warp, and then you're utilizing the Union Fusion ability to draw extra cards per turn. So on the Unawakened side, you can send the top card of your deck to the warp just by activating main. You draw, when you attack, and then you can take up to 1 life, and then when you activate a Union Fusion, you draw a card. And then on the, so you awaken at 4. Same thing on the other side, but now whenever you attack, you draw 1, and then you can warp up to the top 5 cards of your deck. You have a new ability. You can take 1 life. If you do, you choose 2 of your battle cards that cost 1, and then they gain 10k until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is very, very strong. Okay, so we'll go over the list here. For people who don't know, this deck is probably a 60 card list because of the amount of milling you're going to be doing, and in a format where we have a new mill deck that's going to be running around on top of Zamasu and Cooler potentially, you want to run 60. So we do play a lot of 1-drop. This is, I think, the correct number to play. We have Challenging Demigod, which is just a 1-drop cantrip, just an extra Goku target. Sometimes we don't have turn 1 plays because we don't hit enough fusion materials for our fusions, so you just want to have a 1-drop play instead. We have the new Goku and Vegeta. This is from the anniversary box. This is a Goku and Vegeta, which is nice. 5k permanent. This card has a 15k power or more. It gains barrier and blocker. And then limit 1 when this card attacks or activates blocker, you get to draw a card. So using your leader effect to make this card a 15k, you can either use that as an attacker or as a blocker, and you're going to draw an extra card, which is really strong. And then we have the True Fighting Spirit cards, kind of the staples for Black Saiyan leaders. They're both allowing you to take life. Vegeta hits decks that restand energy off of non-awakened skills, so things like Broly, things like D-Magic, just other blue cards that's going to make you restand energy. They warp a card, and then if they activate a counter, Goku makes them warp a card as well. Now Goku was limited. He's now unique, so you can't play multiple. Vegeta you can play multiple, but most people don't play Vegeta. I think we'll probably just play it a little bit now, just so you have more copies of Goku and Vegetas. We have 2 Gohan counter the Gohan rares. You just play this in every black deck, just an extra negate, since you can also activate it from the warp. Means that if you warp it, it's never dead. 4 combo attack. We just have the new anniversary gold version here. This card's currently $22. Draws a card, combos a black card from the drop. I mean the warp. You kind of know the drill by now. This card's been out for a while. We have 4 counterplays. Another Goku Vegeta target. We're going to be playing Xenosons. You just need access to the counterplay if you can. We have 2 Rebellu Competent Secretaries. So this is a card that I don't think anyone's really put into the list. So this is a card you can play from the warp, which I definitely find to be very valuable in this deck. So for 1, you can choose a battle card that has Overrealm or Dark Overrealm and place it in the drop. Then you play this card from the warp. You warp one of your opponent's battle cards on board, and you give your leader 5k for the turn. So you get to beam your leader offensively. You get to warp a card on board, all in the activate main step, and then play this card as a 20k, right? So you can play an Overrealm, which will be free, and then you can sack the Overrealm off to play this, to then just add more pressure. And because this card can be played from the warp, it's always going to be available to you. Again, very, very nice effect. For Goten super combos, I think this is the one that you play. And you'll see by a card in our Z deck now, we're typically not going to be at 4 when we awaken, so we need to have access to this earlier. 5 more cards in the warp to draw 1. Can't beat that. 2 Bardock negates. You need cards in the drop to do this. You need to be at 4 life. You send 5 cards from the drop back to the warp. So you need 5 or more, and then you send the entire drop back to the warp. I'm sorry. And then it's just a hard battle card negate. Not a bad idea. 2 Tenacious, of course. 3 of the Vegito pieces. Now, this is not a Union Fusion, so you won't draw off the effect. But you do play Goku and Vegetas, so you can play this guy. Barrier, Deflect, Blocker, can restand, Burst 2. Obviously, all stuff that goes with the deck. So not a bad choice. 1 Thwarting. He's still limited, but you play it in this deck regardless, just in case you do see it. 3 Cooler, Strongest Pride. I think this is going to be a card people should probably play test a little bit in this deck. I know people were talking about playing the red-haired Trunks from the Trunks Xeno deck. That card is not very good. It's barely good in that deck. So unfortunately, I don't think it's a card that you should be looking at playing. I know people are saying it because you can put cards back, but paying 2 for that when we're not going to be awakening the normal way anymore to get the energy back is just not very good. So this card on play warps a battle card. So that's also really good because you can warp before it's played, meaning you can hit things like Gogeta, which is really nice. When this card's played, you choose 2 of your black battle cards from your warp and then add them back to the drop, so we're getting some drop area recursion. And then you give 1 of your black cards 5k for the turn. So you can give your leader, you can give itself, you can give any other black card 5k. So also could be unisons as well. Very, very strong. 4 Fearless Fusions. It's one of the ones you can play it for, so you play it 4 just so you see it. Warps a battle card 4 or less. And then all of the Union Fusions have this effect where you can warp. You can choose cards in your warp that fits the criteria for Union Fusion and then put them back into the drop, which is why we're playing so many Goku and Vegetas. 1 Martial Melee, which is old TP card for this deck. It's a 3 cost, which isn't amazing. It's got double strike. You can restand it by putting a Goku and a Vegeta from the drop into the warp. You probably will never play it. But it's just in there just in case. We have 4 Marvelous Might, of course, 20k barrier. You also can sack it, place it at the bottom of the deck to then play a 1-drop Goku and Vegeta out from the drop or the warp, which is great because you can play any of these cards. This card won't draw you anything because this has to be played from hand, but this one will be able to draw you, and then these 2 can also activate their effects, which is good. 4 of the new Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Flash. Now this card is what's going to make this deck over the top. Alright, so this is a 35k triple striker for 1 energy. Only 2 caveats to this is you have to be awakened and your opponent needs 2 or more energy. So if you go first, you cannot play this on your turn 2. So keep that in mind. If you go second, you can play it on turn 2. I think people who are playing against Gogeta should be prepared for some sort of hard negate on turn 2 from this guy. It's going to come down. This card also has a secondary effect. You can tap a second black when it's played to warp 3 of your opponent's battle cards. Astronomical. The fact that this card's not limit 1, it's not unique. It's really I would say really concerning for people who are not going to be playing this deck. For people who are going to play it, it's great, right? For people who are not going to play it, definitely going to have to learn how to play around it, because this is going to be a problem for some people, and some people are going to crash out because they can't deal with this on turn 2. So just keep that in mind. Evil Saiyan, of course, is the Seeker of Choice. 2 Crack, 2 Super Kamehameha, 3 Support of the Dark Empire. That's probably your main deck there. Z deck, 1 Mighty Blast, 1 Vegeta's Unison, 1 Chilai. We have 2 of the new Kai. which allows you to awaken early. So it's a 1-drop, it's got barrier. If this card's in rest mode, your Gogeta cards, Gogeta Xeno, gain 5k. So this is leader. This is if they, this is your 8-drop. This is the thwarting, all the 6 drops, they all gain 5k. And this is on your turn and your opponent's turn, which is really good. That means you get to be in your leader. Love that. This card's also not limit 1. So technically, if you have 2 of these on board, you can be in your leader twice. Auto, if your leader's backside is Fateful Fusion, you send 1 card from your hand to the warp, you draw a card, you can flip your leader over to its backside. Now you don't get any of the effects, you don't get to draw 1 or restand 1. But allowing yourself to be able to awaken technically at 8 is kind of crazy. And that allows you to then use your leader effect, the activate main, to then take your own life down. So then you can start using the effects on the 1 costs, which is great, beautiful. Typically you'll play this on turn 2 or turn 1, and then you'll bean this card by 10, which then will bean your leader by 5. So making your leader at 20k, making this card at 20k. Typically turn 2, those aren't getting killed. 1 Boo, 1 Gohan, 1 Goku, 1 Vegito, and then 1 Demigra for Wormhole. Kind of rounds out your Z deck. The Majin Buu and the Goku can also gain 10k. Keep that in mind, off of your leader. So you can also get those guys cards as well. And we don't have a side built for this. I don't have any real options. I think you're looking at like Petrification and maybe like Supreme Kai Negates. And then everything else, I don't really think there's anything you need to change in the main deck. This deck is pretty straightforward, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Tech options, you're not really playing this as a mid-range deck. I think you're just trying to aggro people down. That's sort of the concept of this deck. So there's really not a lot of other room for adjustments, I think. So that is the list. You guys let me know what you guys think of Gogeta. If you guys are going to be playing him when the set drops in a few weeks, let me know down in the comments. As always, like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.